Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. And today I'm filming this on December the 3rd. This is probably not going to go up for a couple more days because I have a couple of other videos I filmed today that I'm going to put up first. But it is time for me to share with you what I'm reading in the month of December. So it is crunch time now. Y'all know I don't like to carry things over from one year to the next, which means that anything that's on my currently reading list on Goodreads, anything I'm in the middle of, I need to finish before or by the end of the month. Otherwise, it just has to go back on my to-read list and I got to start it all over. So I've got a couple of books that have been hanging around my currently reading list for several months, but I'm pretty sure I can finish them. And I have some Christmas themed books I want to get to, and I want to finish up some of my reading goals on my Serious About Series list and things like that. So let's just get started. Now, before I get into what I'm specifically reading, let me just let you know, in case you haven't heard, that Mitzi and Sonia and I are not going to be doing our Christmas gift, Christmas book exchange this year. There was just too much going on for all of us. And even though we kind of talked about doing it again, when it came down to it, we just couldn't make it happen this year. So hopefully we'll be back to do it next year. And meanwhile, you can always go back and watch our last year's videos. And of course, Krista and the BookTube besties are doing it again this year. And you can always watch their videos. They're always fun. So hopefully you'll go over and check those out. But we will not be doing any on our channels this year, myself and Mitzi and Sonia. But I do have a lot of fun things planned for myself to read. But before I get into what I'm reading for December, I want to let you know about a little read along that I'm going to be involved in the month of January to give you plenty of time to prepare. Many of you have heard me say that State of the Onion by Julie Heisey is my favorite cozy mystery. Now, I would say it's my favorite cozy mystery series, except this is still the only one I've read, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm really excited to read more. I reread this book with Tiffany in 2025, and we were talking about reading book 2 at some point in 2026, and a few other people mentioned that they were reading this or had read it and were wanting to read it with us. So because book 2, which is Hail to the Chef, is set around Christmas time, we thought that there's probably a little too much already going on at Christmas time, but this would be a perfect read starting at the beginning of January while it still feels like holiday time. And we are going to start a read along of not the whole series, but this book for at least the first half of January, or for however long it takes us. Now, I'm not sure yet if we will have a chat group on the Killing Time with Cozy's Discord, or if we'll start a new group on Voxer. Maybe both. I don't know. I have a feeling it'll end up on Discord, although I generally prefer Voxer than Discord, but it's fine either way. But just, be on the alert for when and where we will start chatting about this. But meanwhile, if you have not read State of the Onion, you have time right now during the month of December to get this read so that you can then join in on Hail to the Chef for the first half of January. Now, part of the reason I wanted to go ahead and get that read for this Christmas season is because book 3, Executive Orders, is set at Easter time. Now, Easter in 2026 is April the 5th. So I propose that we go ahead and schedule this for a read along for the second half of March, leading up to Easter, and I think that will be perfect. Whether we read any more in this series in 2026, I don't know, but at least we can check 2 of the books, well, 3 if you count the first one, off of our SAS list, and we will be that much further down the road to completing this series, and I know it's going to be awesome. So I hope that you will join us. Okay, so what I am reading in December. I have one buddy read and one readathon and several books on my Serious About Series list that I want to finish up, and a few hangers on that have been on my currently reading list, at least a couple of books that have been hanging on for several months, and a couple of audiobooks that I carried over from November. So let me show you the carryovers first. In November, because we read The Waiting by Michael Conley, which is farther down in the Bosch universe, I wanted to go back and read the first book, which is The Black Echo. This has been on my radar for quite a while, and I just never took the time to start it. But I enjoyed The Waiting so much that I thought now is the time to go ahead and read The Black Echo. There is some foul language, but so far I'm enjoying it. I'm just on disc 4. I started it in November, but I didn't get very far, and I will definitely finish it in the month of December. And then another audiobook I carried over that I started in November is book 3 in the Yada Yada prayer group called Yada Yada Prayer Group Gets Real. This series is by Nita Jackson. It's a 7-book series, and depending on how long it takes me to finish this one, I might decide to go ahead and binge some more in this series. I don't know if I'll finish it. I might. We shall see. I have several other audiobooks that are on my Serious About series list that I want to finish. This was not on my SAS list, but when Ashley, the strawberry book reader, decided to, I didn't even realize that some of the lights weren't on. But when I found out that Ashley, the strawberry book reader, was going to plan to have a read along of this series, I thought, oh, well, I've got those on my shelves. I will just go ahead and read those too. Well, she has read a couple of them and didn't really, stick to a schedule. And so I didn't stick to a schedule. And so here I am still on book 3. I think she has finished book 3 by this point. Anyway, I don't know yet what I'm going to do. I do really enjoy these books so far. And I definitely want to finish the series. I'm not sure how fast I want to do them. So I for sure will finish this, and then we'll decide later if I'm going to go to the next one or save it till next year. Now, I have 2 print books that have been on my currently reading list for several months, and one of them I finally picked up and restarted in November. It's The Column of Fire by Ken Follett. This was going to be my mammoth book for March of the Mammoths, and I only read like 10 pages of it in March, but now I am well into it. When I got to the halfway point, kind of over the hump, and realized that I was definitely going to be able to finish it by the end of December, I decided to go ahead and focus on a library book that I had started, and that was a Gladys Tabor book. I talked about that in my November wrap-up. I'm really glad that I read that book because the Gladys Tabor library books are quickly disappearing, and I wanted to read that one while I still had it available to me. So anyway, I have, I think, 330 pages left of this book, and I can easily finish it, even with all the other stuff that I have going on. And so far, it's good. So another book that I have to read in print that I started back probably in April, maybe late March, for my Reading Like Gladys Tabor project for Gladys Tabor Week is The Thurber Carnival by James Thurber. Now, I got to page 24 in this book and then put it down in lieu of a shorter book by James Thurber, and I just never got around to picking it back up. So this morning I picked it back up and I read the first several pages. I'm not quite back to 24 yet. I decided I would go ahead and just reread it, and I think that I can go ahead and read this book because it's comical, it's humorous, it's fun, and I think it will be a fun read. If I, get bogged down in it and it just seems like it's going to take too long and I really want to focus on Christmas books, I can just put it back on my want to read list and pick it up sometime, in the future. But for the moment, I think I am going to go ahead and see if I can knock this one out. So those are the books that I have already started prior to December. For the month of December, I have one last book in the Harmony Harbor series that I'm reading with my friend Fiona from the channel My Cozy Haven. And we are reading Christmas in Harmony Harbor. It's book 9 in the Harmony Harbor series by Debbie Mason. And so far, this one is very enjoyable. This one is a retelling of A Christmas Carol, and it is super cute so far. We are both enjoying it. We're only just about 6 chapters in. We're reading 2 chapters a day, and as of right now, it is December the 3rd. So I've read 6 chapters, and so far, I'm really enjoying it. Now, you may have seen our announcements for Debbie December. That, I think, is the only readathon that I'm planning to participate in because I'm co-hosting it for the month of December. And that's a readathon to read anything by Debbie Macomber that you want. I have already finished one audiobook. It's actually a nonfiction book called One Perfect Word. It was recommended to me by someone in my comments that said they had recently read it and really enjoyed it. It doesn't meet any of the 3 prompts, but it was excellent. I really, really enjoyed it. It's about the concept of choosing a word that will be your word for the year. And she goes through and talks about a lot of the previous words that she has had in her life and the process of choosing a word and things like that and what you do with that word, while you're in that year and everything. And I've never really done that. And I'm not sure that I have the attention span to keep one word for the entire year, but I'm kind of thinking about it. So, yeah, let me know if you've ever done that and what your experience was like and if you would recommend it. So, it's something to think about for sure. Anyway, but for Debbie December, we have 3 prompts or 3 wishes because we wish that you would enjoy a Debbie Macomber book with us during the month of December. And our 3 wishes or 3 prompts are that you read a book that is holiday themed and that you read a book that is set in Alaska. And those could be the same book. And that you read a book by Debbie Macomber that was originally a category romance book. Now, I have several of those, and I've read several of those, and I have not decided which I will read this month. But I do have my other books narrowed down. One of them is going to be Surely, Goodness, and Mercy. Now, I could find this on audio, but it is super short, so I am planning to just go ahead and read this in print. This is part of the Angels Intervention series and the Angels Everywhere series. There's 2 different angel series. One of them is just the Surely, Goodness, and Mercy books, and one of them also incorporates the Mr. and Mrs. Miracle books. And so this is a part of either or both of those. Anyway, it looks super cute, and I can't wait to read it. So last night I went through all my books by Debbie Macomber, and I pulled out the ones that I know are set in Alaska. Now, some of the other hosts have recommended the Midnight Suns series, and I own some of those, but I don't have the first one. And you'll know I'm not going to pick up, book 3 and start it without having read the first one, at least in most cases. So I'm going to have to, leave that on hold. I do think my library has a copy if I had time to read it in print, but I'm not holding out any hope that I'm going to have that kind of time. So I'm going to have to just find something that I can get on audio. So I pulled out these 2. One of them is Alaskan Holiday and one of them is Starry Night. I looked them up and I have already read Starry Night. So that one is out unless I can find it on audio and I want to reread it, which would be fine. But if I can find Alaskan Holiday on audio, then this is the one that I will go with. And then I will, at some point, very soon, hopefully, pull out all of my Debbie Macomber category romance books. I have several vintage copies and perhaps do a little video of the ones that I have and show you which ones are standalones, or maybe if I have any that are first in series, and you can help me decide which one I should read. So that's all I have so far for Debbie December. Now, some people who I follow on BookTube and I'm friends with are doing Bookmas and, they're doing Advents and things like that. And they're showing a book a day or, tea or candles or something like that. And that is awesome. I'm going to really enjoy watching those. But I don't have plans to do any kind of daily videos or anything like that. I just don't think that it's feasible with everything else that I have going on. But what I am going to do every day is continue to read with my daughter. And instead of starting a new chapter book, what I decided to do with her is to pick a children's storybook that has a Christmas theme and read a different one to her every day. And then each day pick a Christmas movie. And I think she probably has enough to watch a different one every day. Maybe not, but we'll see. Then each day we will read together a different book, and she can watch a different Christmas movie. And I have learned my lesson the hard way. When it comes to these daily short books, I need to write them down. So I started a little list on a notepad, and I'm writing down every day. I'm also adding them to my Goodreads, but sometimes I might wait a couple days before I get a chance to get on Goodreads. So I'm writing down what we're reading and what she's watching. But I didn't decide to do this until we're sitting there reading on December 1st. We had finished up her devotional, and I was like, oh, how about this? Let's do this. And so I just grabbed the first Christmas book I could find, which was Dora's Counting Christmas. Now, this is a very good little counting book. It's a board book, and so, it's meant for very young children. But, my daughter has autism, and this was good. So I rated this 5 stars. I thought it was really good. It is the artwork is good. It's very clear. Their pictures are easy to count. And for what it is, it's excellent. And what I should have done at that point, though, was pull out a Dora Christmas movie and make them go hand in hand. But I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I pulled out a Berenstain Bears called The Christmas Tree, or Christmas Trees, something like that. She had watched it not too long ago and seemed to really enjoy it. So she watched that a couple of times. And then I think her DVD player may be kind of starting to go on the fritz, because if you watch the same movie a couple of times, then it kind of starts to mess up, even if it's, a fairly brand new DVD. Or sometimes a new DVD will have a hard time getting going. And we encountered that the next day when I put in a movie that I know she's not watched more than a couple of times. But for day 2, we read Barney's Christmas Wishes. This is well worn. It is, every page is taped back in. She's had this book a long time, and we've read it many times. It is a good book about how Barney and BJ are each given one Christmas wish, and they wish for something that the other one wants so that they can give it to the other. It's so sweet. Anyway, again, what we should have done was put in a Barney movie, but we didn't. Instead, I put in a My Little Pony Very Minty Christmas, and she watched that a couple of times, and then it just started to mess up. And then I happened to think, oh, we totally missed watching Little Sparrow for Thanksgiving. Y'all know what Little Sparrow is? Let me go get that. Anyway, this is Little Sparrow. It is a little 30-minute movie from Precious Moments. This is the DVD cover, and this is the VHS cover. We have all things Little Sparrow. This has been one of her all-time favorite movies and characters since she was probably 5 or 6. And it had been a while since we watched it. So I put this in, and then I restarted it for a couple of times, and then I had to go to work. And I told my husband, I said, you're going to have to switch out the movie, or you're going to be in there, every 30 minutes pressing restart, because this is not a DVD that resets itself. Some of her DVDs do reset themselves. Anyway, I came home from work and she was still watching it. I said, have you been restarting that all day? And he said, yes, that's what she wanted to watch. So she got 2 movies yesterday. And this is really a Thanksgiving movie. So we were just kind of playing catch up, because we did watch Charlie Brown on Thanksgiving, but we neglected to watch Little Sparrow. So for today, being December 3rd, I realized that she probably had several little golden books that were Christmas themed. So I went through her big stack of little golden books, and I found 8 that were Christmas themed, and I spread them all out and had her pick. And this is the one she picked to read today. We read Frosty the Snowman. This is the 1950 version, but it was reprinted, I think, in 1981. So we enjoyed this. And then I thought, okay, now we need to watch Frosty the Snowman. I'm finally getting with the program. And we didn't have it. So what she ended up watching was a compilation of several different children's characters. I think they were originally maybe on PBS, because there were a couple of Barney episodes. There was some Thomas the Tank Engine, some Bob the Builder, and a few other random things. So she watched that 2 or 3 times, and that's been her movie of today. She's also been watching Max and Ruby's Christmas, because that's her old standby, is anything Max and Ruby. So by the end of the month, she will have watched through pretty much all of her Christmas movies, and we will have read a pretty good chunk of her Christmas books. Some that she's read before, and some that we probably have never read that have just been sitting on her shelves. One other book I'm reading with Emily that was on her shelf, it's kind of dog-eared. She had picked it up at church and started looking at it, and I just decided to bring it home. This has been probably a year or two ago, and it's called The Message of Christmas. What it is actually is passages from the Message Bible that have to do with Christmas. Right now, we are reading sections from the Old Testament that are prophecy about the coming of Jesus, and then it just goes from there. So I've never read really much from the Message Bible, just a few little bits and pieces here and there, and this is also bits and pieces, but I'm enjoying it. It is very different. It's more like a story. It's more in modern day language, and I don't know how I really feel about it as a whole, but it's good to explore and experience new things. So I'm giving this a try, and I'm reading it to Emily. I'm not sure how much she's getting out of it, but we've included it in the part of our devotional that I read with her. I've got several Christmassy type books here that are kind of my top priority of Christmas books, and I'm not going to get to all of these. I haven't even checked lately to see if any of these are available on audio. I suspect that they're not. But 3 of them I'm for sure going to read. I've already started one, and I'm really mostly done with it. But these are just some little kind of inspirational kind of things. 2 of them are Christian inspirational, and then this one is just kind of fun and whimsical. This is a Susan Branch book called Christmas Joy that Mitzi gave me last year. In fact, all 3 of these came from our Christmas exchange last year. And Mitzi gave me this one, and I think she gave me this one also. This one is A Treasury of Christmas Miracles, True Stories of God's Presence Today by Karen Kingsbury. And I've only read one Karen Kingsbury book, and I didn't love it, but I think this is not going to be related to any of her series or anything like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And then Sonia gave me this one. This is by Dale Evans Rogers, called Christmas is Always, and this is delightful. You guys, some of these little books like this that are kind of like little gift books, I think they get kind of overlooked and thought of as kind of throwaway books. But y'all, some of the best little nuggets are in these little books, and especially Christmas themed ones. So don't discount those little Christmassy type books, especially some of these that are older, because there are some beautiful things in these books. In fact, one I would recommend is a series edited by Joe Wheeler. I think it's called Christmas Treasury or something like that. I've read a couple of them, and I have just loved them. I probably won't read one this year because I want to get to some of these others, but I highly recommend that series by Joe Wheeler. And you can look him up on Goodreads, and you can see there's a long list of those books. And I've only read 2 of them. So I've got some good reading ahead of me at some point in the future. Then I have a few others here, and I'm not sure. I think I'm leaning towards, if I could pick one of these 4, I'm probably leaning towards this one, because this is a series. This is on my Serious About Series list, and I have been wanting to pick this up all year. This is from the Cape Light series by Thomas Kincaid and Catherine Spencer. This is A Christmas to Remember. I want to say this is book 7, 6, 7, 8. It's somewhere in there. And that's probably the one I'm leaning towards. But if I have the time, I've got these. These have all been on my cart like all year. This one is by Catherine Patterson, who is a middle grade author. She has written some Newbery winners. This is called A Stubborn Sweetness and Other Stories for the Christmas Season. She's the author of A Bridge to Terabithia, and I think Jacob Has I Loved. Both of those are Newbery winners. Anyway, this one, if it's just little short stories, then it might be doable. I could just put it on my nightstand and get to it like that. I don't know. But it's a possibility. And then this has 2 novellas in it. I have had this book for years. It even got some water damage a few years ago when my utility room got flooded, and I finally last year read the one that got the worst water damage, and then I had to throw it away because it had already started getting moldy. This one I don't think is moldy. It just got, kind of puckered on the edges. But this is called Patchwork Christmas. It's by Renee DeMarco and Colleen L. Reese. Those are both Christian authors that have contributed to a lot of short stories that were published by Barber, and I recognize those names. I think it's going to be, quilt related, so I would definitely like to read that one. And then this one, Thomas Kincaid's Home for Christmas by Joanne Brown. I think that this is a novelization of a movie about Thomas Kincaid and the life of Thomas Kincaid. I've had this on my cart for a long time. This was actually a BookTube spin book. Y'all remember the BookTube spin? I spun this one year and I still never got it read, and I need to read it. I don't know. I still don't know if it's going to happen this year or not, but I keep leaving it on my cart in the hopes that one of these days I'll get to it. It doesn't have to be read at Christmas, but it's a Christmas themed book, so it feels like that would be a good time to read it. Okay, then the last category of books are books that are not Christmas books, but books that I would like to read and check off my Serious About series list. And I have several. In the month of November, I worked on the Skink series by Carl Hyacin, and I didn't make it quite to the last book. I'm on hold on Libby for the audiobook, but I'm second in line, so who knows how long that will take. It could take up to 4 weeks. And so I went ahead and just ordered the CDs from the library so that I can go ahead and listen to this on CD if I need to. And then I own one other Carl Hyacin book that I didn't think I had read. I've started this. I was able to get this on Libby as well on audio, and I am not enjoying this one. This one is going to have a low rating from me. It's very sacrilegious. It makes fun of Christians, and it's just pretty trashy. But Carl Hyacin books are good candidates for Carb August anyway. But this one doesn't have skink in it, so, that's too bad. But anyway, I'll go ahead and listen to this. I may have listened to this before at one point. I don't know. My husband and I listened to a bunch of these on CD way back before I ever started BookTube or knew about Goodreads or anything. So none of them were marked. So that's why I'm kind of going back through and reading them all as I get a chance. And I started with the Skink series, but now I'm finishing it up so I can get to the others that are not part of that series. I have a couple of series that won't take me very long to finish that I can get on audio. I have this third book in this middle grade Star Wars series that are basically novelizations of the original 3 movies, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And this one is called Beware the Power of the Dark Side. It's based on Return of the Jedi. I discovered that my library had CD copies of the first 2, and I didn't think they had the third one. But I was searching around and I realized that they do have the third one. So I haven't checked it out yet because I've got a couple of other CDs that are lined up to go. One, I'm listening to the Harry Bosch book right now, and I have the Carl Hyacin book. But I think I can get to this one in December. And if not, then I'll bump it to January. But it would be fun to go ahead and finish this trilogy this year. One of the series on my Serious About series list that I am on book 5 of that I never got around to listening to is book 5 in the Bookmobile Cat series by Laurie Cass, Cat with a Clue. I own this copy. I think this is the only one of these that I own. So once I get done with it, I can go ahead and put this on eBay or trade it in at the bookstore, and I'll for sure continue on with the series. I really do enjoy it, but I think this is the only one that I own, so I would like to go ahead and get it done this year. Then I would like to finish the One and Only series by Catherine Applegate. I reread One and Only Ivan earlier this year, and I listened to the One and Only Bob for my 60 by 60 challenge. But I would like to go back and just read the One and Only Bob in print. I don't own the One and Only Ruby, but I can get it from the library. And then I do have a copy here of the One and Only Family. I would like to finish it, but if I don't, it's not a big deal. I might just go ahead and listen to them on audio and then come back and reread them in print next year. Maybe that's what I'll do so I can kind of check them off my SAS list. I'm not going to get rid of this anytime soon. I'd like to go ahead and just have the whole collection, but I would like to go ahead and at least read it very soon. So we shall see if I get to this one in December or not. This is an Amish Cozy Mystery series that I started for Amish in April a couple of years ago, and I thought I would get back to it and read the last two this year, and I didn't. The first one is Cappy King and the Puppy Caper. It's by Amy Lillard. So I did listen to this one, like I said, a couple of years ago. So I'd like to go ahead and get to the last two. I think this is the second one, Cappy King and the Pickle Caper. And then the third one is Cappy King and the Pie Caper. There's another trilogy that I don't own that is a Christian fiction trilogy. It's the prequel trilogy to the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. I listened to the first one on Audible Plus while it was still available, and now they've all dropped off of Audible Plus. But I think I can get books 2 and 3 on Hoopla. So that is another goal I have, to go ahead and finish those up. And then I have the Coltons of Oklahoma series that is a Harlequin romantic suspense series, and I have listened to books 1, 2, and 5. I started with 5, not accidentally, but I picked it up on purpose, and I didn't look to see what number it was or anything, just as an experiment, and I enjoyed it. So I went back and I have listened to 1 and 2, and I'm not even sure which number these are. I think this is 1 and 4. Anyway, I do want to go ahead and finish up that series. I don't know if I'll get to that in December or not, but it's a possibility. So I have several possibilities that I could finish up for my series. And then what my plan is for Serious About Series for next year is to still go on and listen to some audiobooks that are on my SAS list, but I want to for sure focus on print books. And I've already talked about that. I will do a separate video about my challenge and plan for Serious About Series for 2026. It involves the number 6, and I'll do a separate video about that later. But for now, just be planning what series you want to focus on in 2026, and I hope that you find some good ones. So I think that is all I have to tell you about my December reading plans. Let me know what you are reading for December. I hope that you are joining us for Debbie December, and I hope that you are reading some fun Christmas themed books, and that you are finishing up your reading goals and all the things. This is the time to do it, and I hope that you and your family get to spend some time together this holiday season, and that you have a wonderful month of December. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day reading a book, and God bless you. What? Do y'all want to meet Bigfoot? He is being very loud. This is Katie. This is Katie's cat, Bigfoot. He rarely ever gets on. He rarely ever talks to me or gives me any attention because he's Katie's cat. And when Katie's not here, he pays attention to Louie. Louie, our dog, is his best friend. But anyway, he's being very noisy, so I thought I'd let him talk to you. Now when I put him down, he'll probably start being loud again. Can y'all hear him purring? He's very loud.